right, so Pinky is out of town today, so that means I get to hold down the fort here. And she is off on another family trip as one of the relatives died, and I think it was one of her aunts. So it seems to happen with a fair amount of frequency, and maybe it's just one of those things that, like, as you get older, the frequency of the people around you dying increases. Now, all the family that has died off since we've been here in the village has pretty much been her parents' generations, their brothers, their sisters, that sort of thing, which they're in their 70s, and I guess that's to be expected. So every time that does happen, though, there is a funeral death ceremony where this thing can last from 1, but typically up to 3 days, where they're playing music and food, and it's going all day, all night. All the family joins in and is there to, I guess, support one another or whatever. And like, that whole thing just seems kind of weird to me, whether it's Western funerals or these Thai funerals and ceremonies where you'll go years, sometimes decades, without seeing a friend, family member, loved one, whatever it is. You may or may not talk on the phone, probably not, maybe very, very infrequently, but you just don't make it any sort of priority at all to go visit that person. But the moment that they die, you drop everything and go there. And it's like, seems odd that obviously, you know, there's a lot of people in each person's life, and, you know, you can't necessarily keep a close relationship with all of them, but to go that long without seeing anybody and then you drop everything and go see them when they're dead, like, that to me almost seems, well, a little off-putting or a little insulting. It's like, hey, you didn't make the effort to come see me when I was alive, but as soon as I'm dead, you're there tomorrow. So I don't know. I mean, that's just tradition. That's the way it is. I don't make the rules, but it does seem a little strange. Now, something else that I find odd in the village here is that when somebody in the village here dies, there is a sort of death tax that all of the other villagers pay. So when somebody here in the village calls it a day and taps out of life, there is a person that goes around and collects 20 baht from everybody in the village, children included, up to those who are age 60. And instead of 20 baht, those folks at age 60 or higher pay 30 baht. I guess they pay a premium because they are that much closer to collecting on this fee. So this money is rounded up and then, I guess, distributed to the family member of the deceased to help with the ceremony costs and the ritual, like monk ceremony at the temple, and then all the bodies are burned. They're not buried, they're typically burned here. There's a cost for all of that stuff, and that money goes to help. But from what I can tell, that program, at least here in this village, is administered by one person. I'm not sure how he got that job, but there's no, from what I can tell, no accounting or accountability or sort of audit trail. He just goes around, pockets a bunch of money, and I guess we're all trusting that he gives the appropriate portion. I would hope all of it, but maybe, you know, I mean, maybe he gets paid for his effort. He works on commission. I don't know what he does, but there's some transfer of money every time somebody dies here in the village. It's kind of a cool system. It's just different. You know, kind of pay as you go. With Pinky and her parents out of town at the death ceremony, I figured I would help out. All right, feels like deja vu all over again. It is the last day of June and what I believe should be well into rainy season. And in fact, we had like 2 or 3 weeks of very steady rains, 5-6 times a week. It was absolutely pouring. Everything turned green, everything was wet, it was awesome. And now I think we're going on nearly at least 2, maybe closer to 3 weeks with really no rain at all. A couple of passing showers. I've seen rain around the area, but none right here at our place. So our green crops are looking a little less green and a little more yellow. And I've had to dig into my old bag of tricks here and drag out my irrigation supplies that I thought I had put away for many more months. Now, I'm not going to be able to water everything on the property, but I went around and watered a lot of these trees today by hand. And the primary goal today is Dad's peanut farm here, which he put a ton of work into and has kind of held up so far, but the peanuts are starting to wilt, and I'm gonna get water to as much of it as I can. Now, I don't think I have enough hose to get all of it, but I'm gonna do what I can here. And I figure if nothing else, all of this work and effort in the 90+ degree heat almost guarantees that we're gonna get rain tonight. So let's get to it. All right, this is pretty good. That sprinkler is covering more than I anticipated, and I got enough hose, I think, to cover the entire peanut field here. It means I'm gonna be camped out here all afternoon, moving the sprinkler around to different sections, but I think it's enough to get it done. And again, looks like this is gonna rain, so all this effort pretty much guarantees that. It's a win either way. All right, well, it looks like this is my afternoon. I wanted to take a nap anyway, so I guess I'm doing it down here in the cow barn. Got my water, earbuds for some podcast listening. I got a bag of fruit in case I feel scurvy coming on. And yeah, I will sit here and watch the peanuts grow. Every 20 or 30 minutes, I'll have to get up, run over and reposition the sprinkler, but I guess this is my Tuesday afternoon. I'll take it. So I've been bouncing around all afternoon, watering different sections of this peanut field, and so far so good. But as you can see, right over there is an active rainstorm, and that's been the story here for the past like 2 weeks as we sit here in the dryness and watch the surrounding area get soaked here, which normally would be cool unless you're trying to grow peanuts, I guess. You kind of want the rain. The sprinkler slowly but surely is making its way across the field, and should be done in another hour or so. I'm guessing that some of the rice farmers are stressing out about this rain situation too, where like I had mentioned, we had gotten a bunch of it a few weeks ago and now it has stopped. And some of these rice fields, I noticed these guys got a pretty early start. They planted the rice is growing, and now the fields are drying up. Now, some of these farmers have access to water. They have ponds, they have wells, they have water that they can pump onto their rice paddies and rice fields and irrigate stuff. A lot of these guys don't. They are just waiting on the rain. So I don't know what happens. I haven't talked to anybody about it, but I can only assume that it's got to be pretty stressful watching your livelihood dry up while staring at the sky, hoping that at some point the rain returns. And right on cue, I'm about finished up watering the field and it's raining. I'll take it though. I don't know if this is just going to be a passing shower or if it's going to really soak the ground. There's been like 4 or 5 days in a row where it looked like it was going to rain, so I held off on watering. And today I was finally like, I have to go out and do it. And it's raining. So peanuts are extra happy today, I hope. So what's going on down here?
I'm just sitting there. I see my dad coming with this guy. I'm like, what are you doing? He just oh, what the smooth this all.
Nice. Yeah, I was going for a walk and I see the tractor. He's pointing at our house. I'm like, oh, that's where he's going. And your dad comes riding out all smiles on the bike. So what do we plant? What's the plan? What are we gonna plant here?
I'm gonna build the remember the duck.
Oh, this is where the duck pen is going?
So I'm gonna smooth it out.
Okay, so we gotta till it with this or plow it with this, and then they're gonna flatten it with something else with the tractor. You gonna grade it? Nice. All right. What are we gonna pay this guy?
I don't know. What did my dad? Maybe one bottle of the one I buy in the thing and
nice.
whiskey.
All right, cool. I understand your dad probably isn't familiar with composting.
He burned everything.
He burned our entire compost pile.
Great. Awesome.
We call it a compost pile. Dad called it a burn pile. It's gone.
Shit pile.
Yeah, gone. I didn't want to mix this and tend to it either, so Dad's somehow burned it all down to a smoldering pile of nothing. So, well, I'm excited to see more action here on the farm. It is a little bittersweet in that the field that they are plowing is the one that I have, I don't know, countless hours and hours and hours into sourcing the right grass seed, planting it, watering it, fertilizing it, watering it some more, and watering it, and just trying to get it to take off. And this grass was specifically purchased for tortoise food. I wanted to have my own little tortoise food garden so that I could feed them from the farm and not have to buy stuff. And it just never did well. It sprouted, it grew, but it never got more than like 5 inches. And it's like supposed to be, you know, a foot or two tall. And sometimes you just got to come to the realization that just because you put a ton of time and energy into stuff doesn't mean that it's going to pay off, and you got to move on. So all is not lost. I also have an area where I threw some of those same seeds and put virtually no care, no water, let them just sit there all through dry season, and the rain and whatever natural elements have sprouted it into this stuff, which is like knee high at this point. So I've got an entire field of stuff that I put zero energy into that is producing way more than the stuff that I put a lot of time and energy and effort and thought and research into. So I don't know, man. Sometimes it's a good representation of life is you friggin' kill yourself to do something or try to hit a goal or get something done, and it just falls flat. Whereas other things you could shoot from the hip and carelessly literally throw seeds into the wind, and you got more tortoise food than an army of tortoises could eat. So I don't know. So when asked if they could tear up the land and flatten it out and do all this stuff, yeah, sure, that'd be great. I would like that. You would like that. Let's do it. But I asked one thing. Can you not plow over the grave where Mama Tortoise was buried? Sure, no problem. Dad's got it. We got it. I asked like, I don't know how many times. Make sure we don't hit that. Yeah, he's not going to hit it. What does he do? The first thing the guy does when he backs in that corner is fucking plow right through it. So I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm ready to just rip my hair out. I don't ask for a lot. So tractor driver just apologized. He said that Dad did tell him twice not to hit that spot. He totally forgot about it. So he clearly felt bad and did a good job plowing some extra dirt up. So crisis averted here. All right, so Tractor Man has just finished up grading this, and I'm super psyched because he not only flattened out and graded this whole field, he also significantly improved the grade coming down here. So it was a little dicey before, just even walking down that, especially when it was wet, slippery grass, and it wasn't really suitable for driving a truck over or a tack or tractor or anything like that. But now we've got a freaking highway off-ramp there. So quick access down here. The only other way down to the back end of the property, since we did all this other work here, is to drive all the way around the property and come down here. But now we've got the direct access right out. So pretty stoked with that. And you can see there is more tractoring going on behind me here. I'm not sure what the plan is, but Dad's got his eyes on planting something out here, which I think is awesome. Now this is the area that when we expanded the pond, we dug all that fill out and then raised this whole area here. And I've got my tortoise grass growing on part of it, and looks like we are soon to have something else growing right here. Now, I'm still not quite sure what we're gonna do with this space. Pinky's been making noise about raising ducks. She wants some sort of like duck enclosure down here and a fence and the whole thing tied right into the pond so the ducks can come out and do their thing. I don't know, I'm not against it. I don't really have a lot of enthusiasm for taking care of ducks, so that'll be her project for sure. What has me more excited is I'm kind of scoping out this area over here for potential area for a pickleball court, which I'm not a diehard pickleball player by any means, but I do enjoy it. And it would give Pinky and I something to do without having to go anywhere. I think the closest pickleball court that I'm aware of is like an hour plus away, which I would never drive an hour to play pickleball. But if I had one right here in my yard, I think that'd be pretty amazing. All right, Dad's here this morning. I was wondering how long this was gonna take. He has rolled in this morning in the tack, and I see the gas-powered pond pump, the muck pump, in the back of the trailer. And I think what the plan is today is he is going to pump water from the pond and irrigate probably the peanuts or the bamboo or something. Now, as you guys saw, I watered the peanuts the other day with the sprinkler, and that was after a extended period of drought. And as you saw at the end of me watering, it did start to rain, but that rain shower was pretty short-lived. So it helped, but it's been now a few days since then, and stuff is still super dry. It's still cloudy, it's overcast, there's rain happening around. It always looks like we're right on the verge of raining. It gets windy, you're like, oh, it's coming, and then nothing. So I think Dad today has finally decided he's got to take matters into his own hands. Gonna get to watering. Short people doing short things. What am I gonna do? So as you can see, Dad just continues to make this property his own, which I know from some angles may look strange that I'm just letting him completely overtake the property, but the truth of the matter is I love what he's doing here. And I have had to push back on a couple of things, like for example, use of pesticides and chemicals. I'm pretty certain that every Thai farmer at birth was issued a backpack sprayer and told to liberally and without prejudice just hose every living thing down with some sort of chemical, whether it be fertilizer or pesticide or whatever, man. If you got juice, spray it on the crops. You see them out there everywhere. So I have drawn the line there in terms of chemical application of things, and pretty much said if you can't grow it reasonably naturally with, you know, manure, fertilizer, and that type of stuff, then don't bother doing it. So there's been a couple of those type of things where I push back on, but As for the rest of the property, I mean, I really like what he's doing. He's taken this barren 6-ride property and has broken it up into different segments. We've got the peanuts, we've got various trees, we've got, you know, all kinds of stuff going on. And I really like that. Little trails and roads and stuff going through the property. Let's face it, I never would have done any of that myself. I would have probably done some things and fiddled around, but the fact that he's just turned this into such a neat little working property with all these different zones, with things, different things going on, and he's still working hard at it, like, I really enjoy it. Snake. So yeah, I'll continue to push back, and no doubt we'll be annoyed, and there'll be some back and forth over what I can live with and what I can't. He's done a good job humoring me, but in the grand scheme of things, I just like that he's out here making stuff happen. What's going on over here? I thought this was not the edible bamboo. You told me this is for like construction and building stuff, and
Younger one you can eat, but
why are we messing around with that little stuff down on the other end of the farm when we got this giant pile up here?
because they have a poking stuff and hard to like get into, and they're big. See?
Holy shit, look at that one.
Yeah.
That's like 10 kilos by itself.
Yeah.
You're cutting all those little ones. But
But you cannot sell that price because it's different kind, you know. This one is everybody
this is for the poor people.
very much, yeah. They said that they wow, not like, oh. This does not belong to us. It belongs to my uncle.
I was gonna say, this isn't even our property, right? Oh, so we're pirating it?
It's not really pilot. Everybody can, like my family member can come take it if they want it. Like if I see it long and I cut it up and bring it over and we can share. Like they're making some food, and then like my aunt give me something that she cooked from this. My cousin, when she cook up something from bamboo that I cut, and she just bring it over.
So everybody kind of contributes a little bit.
Share. Like if I cut it and I bring it, they cook and then they bring me food.
Seems like a pretty good deal.
But nobody like to come here because we have 1, 2, and 3 over there, so I can try to get it all.
Yeah, these things are brutal. I cut a few of these for the tortoise pen and like ended up a bloody, scratched up mess.
Yeah, hard to cut, and then it's not really like it's for eat, but
Ah, I'm getting attacked by one of these things right now.
yeah, they really careful poking your eyes. Chickens. Oh, yes. Yay! I made it.
Holy cow, look at that thing. Feed half the village. Definitely puts my garden hose sprayer to shame. So it looks like the boys have finished up and the peanut field has been flooded. Plants, I guess, look pretty happy. Notice they left all the riggings in place here, so just in case we still get no rain, they can come over here and remove that waterproof cardboard box, protective cover, and give it another round of watering if need be. I also gave Dad the green light to finally cut down a good amount of my tortoise grass. Now, it's been driving him nuts because he is a Class A grass scavenger. If there is grass growing anywhere that he can harvest and keep, whether it's on his land or he gets the okay to get it from somewhere else, or he goes out, I don't know where he goes, but he comes back with these truckloads of grass to feed his cows. It's like his primary purpose in life is to feed these cows. And he's been looking at this grass that I've been growing, and I know he's wanted it, he's asked for it, and I've told him no because it was for the tortoises. And today I realized I'm just gonna have way more grass than I could ever feed to the tortoises. So Dad finally got the okay to come out here, and he went to town with his weed whacker and cut that down and got Go over here to help him pick it up and cart it off. So cows are happy, Dad's happy, and tortoises will still be well fed.